Presentation Skills Masterclass. I suppose I better start by introducing myself. I have come across some of you before. Some of you were in Portugal and saw me do some sessions there. So my name is Manny, and I've got feedback. That will sort itself out. I am the director of a company called The Second Tier, and I set The Second Tier up about 9 years ago. At that time, I was working for a company called A.T. Kearney. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of A.T. Kearney. It's a management consulting company. So I was working for A.T. Kearney in London, and when I was interacting with leaders and executives and senior managers, our conversations, they always seemed to go around to the lack of communication in the organisation, or what communication there was that the organisation was doing wasn't very effective, both internally and externally. And so I started thinking more and more about how organisations can improve the way that they communicate. And my interest really got focused on presentation skills. So that's what I've been doing. Literally, for the last 9 years, I've just been studying about presentation skills and how you can hone and develop these skills and how important these skills are. And I'd like to share some of what I've learned in these last 9 years with you. I call what I do my crusade. Most companies call it a mission. I call it a crusade. And this is my crusade. To re-establish human-level communication being at the heart of business success. And the key words here are human level. I think we're losing this art of communicating with each other. Technology is great, and I have nothing against technology, as long as it's used effectively and in the right way. And I'll teach you some of the techniques that you can employ. The need to present is more acute than ever. Microsoft, their data suggests that every year there are 30 million PowerPoint presentations made. Work this out. That's 250 every second. What are people doing? It's staggering, and you know this. You know that it's important to be able to communicate. Imagine this situation. You're standing in front of some potential customers, and your competitors are going to come in and see exactly the same customers. And let's say that your products aren't massively differentiated. They're pretty much the same. What's going to make the difference? How is the customer going to choose between you or the competitors? It's going to be the way that you come across in your presentation. These skills are important to get right. If any of you have read the book, The McKinsey Mind, in The McKinsey Mind it says, presentation skills. Presentation is the killer skill. It is almost an unfair advantage. I totally believe this. So I'm going to try to teach you some tools and techniques. I want to keep today as practical as possible. By the end of this session, I want you to be able to walk out of that door and do at least 5 things differently to how you do things at the moment when you give a presentation. That's my objective and that's my aim for this session. Tom Peters, any of you heard of this guy? Yeah, the ones with more grey hairs have probably heard of Tom Peters. He was a big, I don't know what you call him, management guru. He wrote in the 1990s, he wrote a book called In Search of Excellence. Yeah, with, so it's Tom Peters and his colleague, Waterman, I think it was. And he's quite a good presenter himself. He has his own natural style, which some people love and some people hate. But what he says is that presentation skills are worthy of extreme, obsessive study. I agree with that as well. Personally, what I think is that fashions will come and go, but the need to persuade will always be with us, always. So we may as well learn how to do this. But there is a problem, isn't there, with the way that presentations are usually done in most organisations. This is the usual situation. You walk into a room and the projector or the plasma screen is in the centre. Now, if I had my way, I would not have my slides in the centre of this room. I would push my slides to the side because I want to stand here. So I'm having to blank my screen whenever I want to stand in the centre. That's okay. It's easily done. By the way, you just press B If you press B, you get a black screen in PowerPoint slideshow. So, if you want to stand in the centre of a room, blank your screen, come to the centre, and engage with people. But this isn't how it's mostly done, is it? In most presentations that you've been to, I'm sure you're sitting there, and the first thing the presenter does is switch the lights off, all the lights down, so the room's now really dark. There's a big screen in the centre, and the presenter is forced to stand right in the corner. This, to me, this is not presenting with sense and simplicity. It really isn't. So I think we need a mindset shift here. You are not here to present your slides. Your slides are there to help you present. And so you use your slides as visual aids. They're there to help you communicate more effectively. If you can get away without using them, I would say don't use them. Use them when you need to show charts, to show graphics. When your slides, when your PowerPoint slides, a picture paints 1,000 words, that's what they say. And when that is true, show your slides. Otherwise, you are the presentation, not your slides. Just try to bear that in mind when you present. Sense and simplicity. How can you present in a way that takes both of these concepts in? How can you apply sense and simplicity in the way that you present? Well, firstly, you need both things. You can't just have sense or just simplicity. If you just have sense, then it's not easy for people to understand. Mark Twain. I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead. It takes time. I think Olivier mentioned this yesterday. It takes time to really get to the core message that you want to deliver. It's not easy. But I think you need both. Marcus Aurelius said, the first principle is simplicity. I wish he had said, the second principle is simplicity. The first is sense. But he didn't, so we're stuck with what we have. Da Vinci also understood the importance of simplicity. He called it the ultimate sophistication. So, we want sense, but we also need simplicity. The two go hand in hand, or else you don't get the effect. Yes, you need sense. Of course you need sense. You need to be at the forefront of thinking. But when you've done that, you've got to distill and distill and distill your thinking down. Bang your head against the wall until the key message comes out. And then you've got sense and you've got simplicity. And that's when the magic starts. And maybe genius as well.